Stand by for the knock. This is The Knock with Dan McGrath and Nick Goodman.
Hello and welcome to The Knock, your monthly fix of Nokia information, entertainment and mobile tech news, coming at you from the homepage of knockknock.tv. I'm Nick Goodman and that's Dan McGrath over there, and in this month's offering,
the Nokia Lumia 925 hits the shops. We've got the latest, and we talk backstage to the stars of one of the recent Lumia live sessions, Fenech Solar, and recap on a fantastic series of gigs so far.
If you're on the hunt for the coolest apps this summer, we've got an amazing one to share with you, which involves a story about Ashton Kutcher taking his clothes off. I kid you not. Keep listening. And we'll bring you the latest sounds from Mix Radio on Nokia Music with another rated and recommended.
You can get in touch with us anytime. Email feedback@theknock.co.uk and follow us on Twitter @theknockuk.
So let's get into it with the Knock News.
This is The Knock.
So the good news this month is the Nokia Lumia 925 is now on sale in the UK. With its metal design, it looks fantastic, and the camera innovation that is PureView captures the best low-light images you can get on any smartphone. And we particularly like the new Nokia Smart Camera. It's a whole new way to capture images once and then play with them afterwards. With options like Best Shot and Action Shot, it's great fun to play about with, and it gets some really cool results. And with the Lumia, of course, you get exclusives such as Nokia Music for unlimited streaming of free music playlists and a suite of integrated location and navigation services, including Here Drive Plus and Here Maps. So if you want to get hold of one and get a great deal, keep listening. More info coming up here on The Knock.
Now it's that time of year again when leaders of some of the world's richest countries in the world, the G8, get together to talk about stuff to fix in the world. Eradicating poverty is always on the list. Now, co-founded by Bono, One is a campaign with more than 3 million people helping to take action to end extreme poverty and preventable disease. Leveraging the power of mobile technology, Nokia has partnered with the One campaign to support their mission. One's new music-based campaign, Agitate, launched this month to showcase the incredible progress that has been made in the fight and to amplify the call for action. Loads of artists like Ed Sheeran, Mumford & Sons and Macklemore have recorded special versions of protest songs, and Nokia is helping spread the word via images captured around the world, taken by prominent photojournalists, there's bloggers, amateur photographers and celebrities alike. Exclusive videos of their performances plus beautiful images that reflect the power of the protest song are available. Check it out at one.org/protest songs. That's one.org/protest songs. And that's the latest Knock news.
This is The Knock.
As you may or may not know by now, Nokia Music and La Blogger Tech are collaborating to showcase the best new UK music talent, and each session is set in an unexpected or kind of weird location. Leanne La Havas performed at a skate park in Liverpool, Ghost Poet gave a truly haunting performance at a cemetery in Bristol, and we've just had the sweet sounds of Slow Club, a Sheffield folk rock duo, perform at the Britannia Panopticon, the world's oldest surviving music hall. Another of the fantastic acts who collaborated on a Lumia Live session is Fenech Solar, and they punched out an awesome gig in an octagon at The Cage in Leeds, training home to some of the UK's premier mixed martial artists. So once they got far enough away from any impending arm bars and rear naked chokes, I grabbed a few minutes with Daniel and Ben backstage in London to find out more about their influences and playing in a cage. So, Ben and Daniel.
Hi, hello.
From Fenech Solar, thank you for joining us on The Knock. You know, what the record industry do is they pigeonhole bands. They go, we need to come up with something that explains them. I guess the kind of overriding thing is that I got was electro-funk pop. Is that right? Do you want to expand on that?
I see you there like a light in the sky. I think the word funk I was always quite wary of, but I think predominantly we've always made electronic music, so you know electro's fine, and we just look at it as songs really.
So talk to me about influences. Some of the people that you used to listen to when you were younger, do you listen to now that have maybe shaped your sound?
I mean, I've always played music and been into sort of punk as a younger kid, but the first thing that sort of made me get into electronic music as a thing was seeing a band Soulwax live and listening to bands like the Chemical Brothers and of course Daft Punk, who have now come back.
originally then, did you go out and buy electronics, or did you originally pick up guitars? I mean, what was the kind of whole starting point?
I don't know, the resurgence of electronic music in 2006 and 2007, we were kind of totally hooked in that scene, and that's really where the band kind of came from. But I think underneath all, whether it's electronic or not, there's always a good pop song, there's always a good lyric that can connect universally to people, and I think that's probably the essence of pop music to a sense, is being able to connect with those people universally. So.
And so, on the kind of technology front and the live thing, we're at the Electric Ballroom in London, just about to play live. Do you guys sequence much? It doesn't sound like you do, but I mean, do you do much sequencing? Is it you try and play the whole thing, like you say, more like a rock band with synths?
There's only so much you can do, and I think sometimes, for me, some bands can kind of just have this really rigorous, like, we're not, we've got to do everything live. I think we've always said that, we want to come off stage feeling like we've really worked.
A lot of the sounds that are sequenced on the record, obviously, are sequenced for a reason of being absolutely tight on the beat. So
we finished our new record about maybe a month ago, and we did sit there and go, how the f*** are we going to play this live? We're standing on a fault line.
Talking of the new stuff then, the Difficult second album is done. Is it called Rituals, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Tell this city feeling up our lungs like
Okay, so nav pop question, do you have any rituals before you go live?
we're not very American.
No, we get change. We get change. We put on our
always good to do.
Our uniforms, and then have a beer. And then
you put on the stage shirts.
Basically, yeah.
I read somewhere, it was on your Twitter feed, I think, something like, we're just about to do the gig. This was just before the Leeds Cage gig, I think. And it said something like, really looking forward to playing new material. Is that because you've already reached that point in your career where you're sick of the hits? Not that one again.
Not that one.
I do think that when you've been writing an album or something for a good a year, you're just excited to play it. We really love the songs that we write, and we generally get excited about playing new music. And
okay, talk to me about the Lumia live session at the Cage in Leeds. So it's an octagon. It's an octagon. Mixed martial arts is done. Now I have to admit, I'm a bit of a nut about that stuff.
Oh right.
What was it like playing in the octagon?
Well, this is the thing. Is I remember we said, I said to Dan and the other guys when we were there. It's just I think that's probably the closest we've come to any of that kind of environment, really.
We do have a fellow friend actually. In Northampton, One Punch Pickett.
Brad, is it Brad?
Brad
Pickett,
yeah, he's a good mate of ours. So we just felt a bit weedy. We were there with with our instruments, with these kind of cases, and we just thought, God. I think the whole concept of taking a band out of the normal environment, putting them into somewhere completely random, and then people, gig goers within. I remember seeing a few tweets or some reactions from some people just saying it was really nice. Go to gigs a lot in Leeds, and it was really nice to just turn up somewhere that I would never go for a gig and just experience that. It's a completely different vibe, and I think that was enjoyed on both sides of the fence, both for us and for the people that went.
Okay, one last question. You guys are doing Reading and Leeds.
Yeah.
Are you doing other festivals? Are you looking forward to the whole festival thing? Have you done festivals yet? And are you now on the right side of the fence?
This summer it's been quite nice because the album's coming out at the end of the summer, and really next year we're going to be really hitting the festivals. This year we've just been taking the ones that we kind of want to do. So Glastonbury, Reading and Leeds. We're doing some other really cool small ones in the UK.
Which is going to be really, really good fun. Boardmasters.
Well, listen, have a great Christmas, and because that's about the next time you're going to surface. Yeah. And if we can get down to Boardmasters, we will. I don't know if you've done Boardmasters before. It's bedlam down there in Newquay. I've been down there a few times with it. It's a riot. So have a good time, boys. Thanks for your time. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll see you again soon, Leeds. Thank you for having us.
And you can get all the latest and see performances by going to nokia.com/Lumia Live.
This is The Knock.
Okay, time to check out the very latest from Mix Radio. So what's going to be rated and recommended this month? Well, the team at Nokia Music have put together a whole series of fantastic mixes under the banner of Nokia Music Ultimate Festival. It's simply the best festival lineup ever, all with a series of dedicated mixes. So you can choose anything from the Lumia live stage with some of the biggest artists in the world to the acoustic and folk TP, which brings you the best unplugged sounds, right the way through to the jazz bus, giving you soul music for bodies and minds. Sounds good.
But we rather like the sound of the swing stage, bringing gypsy jazz, Balkan and electric swing. How about the sound of that? So you can get down to a bit of Caravan Palace.
How to do what you get, what to do without you. What to think I do to me if I just look at you. How to do what you get, how to do without you. You're my all-star.
There's Parov Stellar with the fantastically titled Booty Swing. And a groovy little track by the Correspondents called Washington Square.
Your best friend asks if I am straight or gay. I can understand the question when I dance this way. Straight I said, he said that's okay. Some other little something might be coming your way.
That and a whole lot more available as part of the Nokia Music Ultimate Festival, available on Mix Radio right now. It's so good, in fact, it's rated and recommended by us for this month.
This is The Knock with Dan McGrath and Nick Goodman.
Here at The Knock, we're always looking out for the coolest apps for your Lumia, and we've come across a great one, the history of which involves Ashton Kutcher taking his clothes off. Seriously, Vyclone, Vyclone, Vyclone is a brilliant new video app, and rather than me tell you all about it, earlier on I spoke to the founders of Vyclone, who are on the west coast of America.
Well, East Coast girls are hip, I really dig those styles they wear.
On the line from sunny California. Is it sunny there at the moment, guys?
It is sunny and cloudless.
I've got Joe and David, the founders of Vyclone. You're whereabouts in California then?
We're in Venice, about 6 blocks from the beach.
That's not bad, is it?
I wish they all could be California.
What is Vyclone?
What is Vyclone? It's the result of some strange musings I had a few years ago. I was a musician on tour, and I was looking at all these people filming my band with their camera phones, and I thought, why don't those videos speak to each other? They just end up lonely on YouTube somewhere. And I said to David, let's find a way to put all those videos together and make one movie out of all the little clips. And we started building that, and we realized, hold on a second, people do this all the time everywhere, not just at concerts. So to summarize really badly, Vyclone is a co-creation tool which allows you to video stuff together and make one movie out of countless clips of the same thing.
Yeah, we get this great moment where we show the product to people where they say, wow, that's magic, how did that happen? And you've got people sitting in editing bays bringing all this stuff together, haven't you? And we say, no, it just happens very cleverly because we've got a lot of really good engineers doing some pretty magical stuff with those things called algorithms that make crazy things happen. So, you know, if we were doing this face to face, Nick, we'd probably film the first few minutes of this interview from our respective devices. And when we stop recording, we'd upload those movies to our server. And within moments, we'd get back a 3-source movie that would beautifully cut between our different camera angles, and it would do that all automatically. And the great news is that if there's, you know, an inner Scorsese in you that's bursting to get out, when that movie comes back into the phone, you can edit it via this incredibly simple to use editor that works absolutely beautifully on the Windows platform and in particular in the Nokia devices, where you see a preview of the movie and you see all the sources alongside it, and as you're playing it back in real time, you just use one finger to cut between the different sources and you make your own director's cut of the movie that you contributed to.
And it's got to be presumably location-based, so it knows who else is filming the same thing at the same time. So, for example, if you're at a concert and there's 20 other people filming, it knows that there's 20 other people filming the same sort of thing as you're filming, right?
That's exactly right. And so we're one of those apps that ask you a few questions when you install it. And one of them says, we'd like to know where you are in the world. Are you okay with that? And if you're not okay with that, you don't want to share your location, well, then you're going to be making what we call Billy No Mates. And that's a movie all by yourself, because yes, we absolutely require your location to be able to match you to the people around you.
Where do you see this coming into its own then? So concerts, sporting events, I mean, it's great for families and birthdays. Do you see it more with multiple sources of people who don't know each other, or single-digit sources of people who do know each other?
That's a really good question. One of the things that we wanted to do was put it out there into the public domain and see how people embraced it. And we're seeing some amazing stories unfold. People are making really cool movies, and they're getting to be really creative as well, whether it's in the workplace or at parties or out on the street and so on. Birthday parties, big theme. We're seeing hundreds of those every day. But what we wanted to do was put it out there so that people come to us and say, we'd like to apply this technology in this particular way. So, for instance, we've been approached by a brand that works in the news space, and they want to engage with us to use Vyclone as a kind of citizen journalism tool, putting it out on the streets of where there are protests going on, and being able to capture the news as it unfolds from the perspective of the protagonists there on the streets.
Okay, so it's free for people to get, which is always very nice. They can get it from the Windows Phone App Store. Are you going to develop a kind of freemium model with that as well? So you want to get as many people using it to start with, and then you can make some money off it by adding some lovely extras which people can get, right?
Yeah, that's front of mind for us. And we have two visions for this. One is we want every video to be powered by Vyclone's engine. We want everyone to have an expectation that when they hold up their mobile device, they're going to have access to all the other cameras and videos recorded on them that surround them. That's the first thing. And the second thing is we want to create a great one-stop shop for a videographer, whether they're recording with their buddies or whether they're just making something on their own. So expect to see over the course of the next 12 months lots of really cool features coming in, a lot of post-production tools that makes your videos look great.
You had some groovy investors as well, because no company is a real company without groovy investors.
No, that's absolutely right. Actually, we can share a great story with you. We went to see Universal Music Group very early on, and Joe, knows some of the top guys there from his days in the music business. And we saw one of the executives there who phoned up Guy Ozieri, and Guy Ozieri is Madonna's manager, and said, Guy, I've just seen this really fantastic product and you need to see it. Guy reached out to us. We went round to his house, beautiful house up in the Beverly Hills mountains. We wended our way up the hill to Guy's gorgeous house and showed him this app, and Guy picks up the phone to call Ashton Kutcher, and Ashton is in a fund with Guy called A Grade, and the two of them have been investing for a while now in tech funds, and he had this hilarious conversation with Ashton on the phone, and we then were told that we had to go to the lot where Ashton was filming his TV show, and we turned up and were directed to his trailer, and he walks in from the set, changes his clothes in front of us, which was,
It was very exciting for you, David.
Highly erotic, I'm sure.
He looked at the app. He asked some incredibly intelligent questions. He's really smart when it comes to tech and engineering, and said, you guys are going to change the world and we want to be part of it. And within 2 days, we had term sheets on a deal. And they came in as our lead investor.
Not only have you got great investors, you got to see Ashton Kutcher naked as well, which is a good story. You can dine out on that for many months, I hope. Well, here at The Knock, we think Vyclone is great, so we hope it goes from strength to strength. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, Nick.
Cheers, Nick.
This is The Knock.
So each month we bring you a great deal from the high street on a Nokia device, and seeing as the Lumia 925 has now hit the shops, you're bound to want to get your hands on one. This month we thought we'd get the info straight from the horse's mouth, so Nick spoke to James Patterson from O2 and asked him what they had to offer over at O2 HQ.
Okay, so if you come to O2, we've got the Nokia Lumia 925 on a couple of different types of contracts. We've got it on the standard one where you're tied in for 24 months or 18 months if you want to buy it like that. But we've also got it on our new tariffs, which is O2 Refresh, which lets you buy a new phone whenever you like and rewards you for staying on your current tariff even if you don't buy a new phone.
Okay, how does that work a little bit more then? Give us details, because I think it splits the difference between the airtime and the cost of the phone. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. So with a normal contract, you may not know exactly how much you're paying for your phone. You'll be stuck with it for 2 years, that kind of thing. With O2 Refresh, what we do instead is split out how much you pay for your phone per month and how much you pay for your minutes, text and data. So the way that works is you always know how much you've got left to pay off on your phone, and if you like, you can pay it off whenever you like. And then that's your phone paid off and your bill goes down, and you can buy a new phone, within a month of buying your old one if you really want to. It gives you more control and lets you see exactly how much you're paying for things.
Now, you've got an exclusive colour on the 925 as well, haven't you? O2 are offering it in
white. I've got one here and I've been playing with it for a few days now, and I do quite like white phones. I've had black ones for a while, but my first ever phone was a white one, so I've got a little soft spot for them somewhere. But if you're not a big fan of white, then you can still get it from us, and if you buy a charging plate, we will give you a free charging cover as well, so you can get it in a range of colours if you're not a big white fan.
And tell us a little bit about the latest on 4G from O2 then, because people with their new Lumia devices will be dying to make the most of them with 4G. What's the latest on that? What's the timetable? What can you tell us?
Yeah, I bet they're excited. We're as excited, and we're looking forward to bringing out 4G later on this summer. So the 925 will be ready to go as soon as we are. And yeah, look out for more in the next few weeks.
You can't give us an exclusive on an official hard date when it'll all be rolling out?
I can't, but if you get a 925 now, you'll be ready for when it does, put it that way.
Well, thanks to JP from O2, and of course it's only fair to say the Nokia Lumia 925 is available on other networks and from other retailers too, because we're nothing but fair on this show.
This is The Knock.
And finally, it's not the Knock news. Do you take your phone with you everywhere? And I mean everywhere. The latest survey on phone usage has shown that 1 in 3 people use their mobile phones in the bathroom, with 27% texting whilst actually on the toilet. So digital addiction is worst among the younger generation, with 37% of those aged 16 to 34 admitting using their phones whilst on the throne. Come on! There's nothing wrong with a bit of Twitter on the And 20% of that age group even managed to drop their mobiles down the loo. Lovely. Trying to retrieve that. And on that note, it's time for us to wash our hands of this episode.
Don't forget, you can email us anytime. feedback@theknock.co.uk, or you can find us on Twitter @theknockuk. See you next time.
The Knock is produced by Bounce for knocknock.tv. Tap into everything Nokia.